Why, hello there YouTube and welcome to a brand new episode of Horror Favourite of the Decade. So this month we are in the 1930s. So, the 1930s, when we had the jazz era still in full bloom, and of course, movie history started to become a thing with sound. The silent era was coming to an end, and we got many films. We even got some with Technicolor like The Wizard of Oz or The Adventures of Robin Hood. And of course, we got our good horrors, including Dracula being the first horror to have sound, and then Frankenstein and stuff and that. So, the 1930s. In this one, I'm going to review a 1930s horror, or at least supernatural thriller, that I rarely ever talk about on this channel, and that is the 1933 original film of, well, at least I know of as the oldest one anyway, version of it, the 1933 classic, The Invisible Man. Yes, based on the book of the same name by H.G. Wells, screenplay written by R.C. Sheriff and directed by James Whale, starring Claude Rains, Gloria Stewart, William Herringen, Dudley Diggles, Una O'Connor, Henry Travers, and Forrester Harvey. So this follows scientist Dr. Jack Griffin, who has perfected a potion that can make the human body invisible. And of course, he retreats to an inn where he tries to research and find a way to undo what's been done to him, what he's done to himself. And of course, he is also a wanted man. Not only that, but the invisibility gives him advantages which intoxicate him with power, and he goes a bit power mad with it. And of course, there's his love interest, played by Gloria Stewart, who he actually cares for and actually shows some feelings and humanity for. But of course, there is the angry mob that's after him in this film, and of course, he does not find his way back to visibility with a cure. But in the end, when he dies, he finally reappears as the potion wears off once he's dead. So what did I like about this film? Well, I can tell you that I liked the effects for its time. Now, this was the 1930s. There was no computer effects or anything back then, nothing digital or anything. It was all morphic illusions. In fact, back in the very, very early days of cinema, they were used as tricks and props and illusions for magicians. And they could do ghost projections on it as well, like in the 1900s, and also make invisibility effects. Now, I can't quite remember how they did it, but I know that it was a complex process that they did to make him invisible. Now, this role was originally considered to Bela Lugosi, and he almost accepted until he realised that they were not going to show his face on screen because he was being an invisible man. And like Frankenstein's monster, he declined that role. So they got actor Claude Rains in there. They also had Frankenstein director James Whale behind the camera, directing, and I gotta say, his directing in this was good as well, along with our performances. Now, this was the 1930s, it was 1933, sound had been going around for a couple of years now, so I could tell that people were still adjusting to the new sound in movies that we got. But other than that, I think it actually works. I just love the effects they used at that time to make Claude Rains invisible. I also like that look where he's wrapped in bandages so he can be seen by people, and how miserable he's become because of what he's become of himself. But of course, we do see Claude Rains' face in the final ever shot of the film when he dies. That's the only shot, the only time we actually do see his face in the closing moments of the film. And yeah, how they made the footprints. Did they use stop motion or something for that? I don't know, but like I say, the visuals were good, and I feel still hold up almost a century later, over 9 decades later. And yeah, kudos to the effects team as well for doing all that. So yeah, this is a classic that, like I said, I rarely ever talked about, yet I enjoy The Invisible Man. Of course, there is the 2020 version from Lee Winnell, which is also a brilliant retelling of H.G. Wells' classic. But of course, I'm talking about the 1933 one. So my ratings, what am I going to rate this one? The Invisible Man, 1933. Do you know what? I enjoyed the hell out of it. I'll give it, a 4 out of 5. 4.5 out of 5 from me for The Invisible Man, 1933. Now, to end the show with our monthly shout out, and this month's shout out, I'm giving it to Sai Chi. She's this YouTuber that likes dark horror and dark drama and stuff, and makes a lot of good videos about filmography and books and what have you. Either way, she's a very underappreciated YouTuber, and she definitely deserves more subs, so go over to her channel, check it out, subscribe to her, tell her that I sent you her way. Her channel is linked down below in the description, so be sure to check her out. And yeah, so that's it for this month's episode of Horror Favourite of the Decade. Have you seen The Invisible Man? Let me know down in the comments below if you have, and if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, and to share with your friends, and to feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and to hit that notification bell. No pressure, of course, but if you want to sub and see more from me, and you like what you see, then yeah, be sure to check it out. So, I've been Random Ross, and this has been Horror Favourite of the Decade, the 1930s. So until next time, don't have nightmares.